I came here to South Africa to survive, fleeing from the stone cold house my country, Zimbabwe, has become. I sit here now and traffic goes by. I reread this tattered and torn book of near prophecy a countryman wrote once. It's the only book I own now. And it's all that's legible is the word hunger on the title. Once I had bookshelves stuffed with the promise of good reading until my dying days. Once I had a real job, car, a house. Once I was good looking, stood tall with the gleam of distant horizons waiting to be plundered in my eyes. Once I was a man. Now I am a mouse. Yes, I am a mouse whose only kingdom is this rotted board balanced between two bricks that proffers my cheap wares to those who walk past. My scepter, this book. My throne, the graffiti-scrawled wall I lean against. There are others along my road. We have the same kingdom. They have hair clippers, pay phones, DVDs. They are men. I have only cheap sweets, cigarettes, condoms, and this tired book I read. The book alone seems to ostracize me by their loud hollers to each other during the day. What kind of man reads, they say, with dark looks my way? And I say back with my pink little eyes, can you not see? I am no man. I am a mouse amongst men. How much? A youth asked, dressed in a green tracksuit with sparkling white clean high tops. And before I can muster a voice, he takes out a cigarette from an open box and lights it with a match. He knows the answer, all the streetwalkers do. Perhaps he wants to bargain? I know his kind. They hold court 2 blocks away in a small rundown shopping center. Drugs is their kingdom, and their courtesans are many. 2 rand I finally coax out of my hoarse voice box, and I can see he is judging whether to pay at all. He puffs up his cheeks and shoots out smoke like an arrow. He takes another deep drag before digging into his pocket and flipping out a 2 rand coin into the air. He's gone before it lands, going off to his streets, the shops of his kingdom. The coin bounces off the cardboard, scattering my carefully arranged pile of sweets, and lands between my shoes in the dust. This is the way of things when you are a mouse. A coin in the dirt, and these battered, ripped, and torn things on my feet that can hardly be called shoes. See how my big toe sticks out from the left one. It's cracked, dirty nail, like a warning sign of poverty. It screams, "Stay back, ladies and gentlemen. This one is poor." See him digging on the ground for 1 small coin. Stay back. Stay back. Poverty is catchy. I laugh aloud at this internal monologue, and despite myself, which draws looks from walking passers-by, I have to calm down my laugh because no point in being marked insane as well as poor. Then no one will buy anything from me, because insanity is more infectious than poverty. Everyone knows that, right? Time. Time is all I have now. It stretches so endlessly before me. I think death is perhaps the better option. I am alone in this great world, the sole bearer of all my ancestors, and that load is heavy beyond belief. Gone are all those who once shared the burden, to hunger, to cholera, to the vitriolic that only feeds grain when elections are due. Like Bertrand Russell once said, if one man offers you democracy and another offers you grain, at what stage of starvation do you prefer the grain? Well, my family and I always took the grain every time, even before we were starving. Now I'm here, alone in exile with only my angry ancestors for company. Yet, I endure time. Each day and nightmare-fueled night, I exist. Perhaps I'm just a coward trying to find the bravery to end time. Still, there are moments when time stops without death. I had one this morning. As I left my tenement and walked down the slick, wet road, from the east came the sun. Its lances pierced me through the steaming layers of mist and tree branches. I was struck still, glued to the road by the overall splendor winking at me through a billion raindrops, struggling fervently against gravity's clutch and a slight wet breeze. The Japanese call it mono no aware, the sense of the temporal about to rush back in at any moment, shattering this time-fragile exquisiteness. It made me paradoxically want to hurl insults to the sky and get down on my knees to worship. How much? She asked, pointing a manicured finger at the pile of taffies. Fingers that spoke of clean office toy. Still caught in the memory of mono no aware, I almost said she can have them all. Take them all. Take my kingdom. And walk away just to see the bounce in your step at the kindness of strangers. Because she is radiant. One of the good ones I can see. Her face, moonbeam, honest and clothes well kept. I need to answer her before her honey eyes change and I watch myself being placed in a box called Beware. 50 cents I managed to rip out of my dry saliva-stuck lips. She looks away. Thank the gods before her eyes may change, and begins digging in her purse. I study every line and curve of her face. They whisper of a small room. She can call her own, with night class diplomas behind plastic frames, of her grandmother's quilt upon a single bed, of a small TV, and a chair with her next day's clothing draped, ready to wear. Of rural families and relatives, of a big city girl who dreams of working her way to the top, slow and steady as she's been taught. I want to embrace her heart and proclaim her to all that may hear that here is a real human being. Not me. I am just a mouse. Instead, I smile when she places a 2-rand coin into my automatically outstretched palm. A smile that I hope spoke all I wanted to say without seeming like a grinning mad mouse. She smiles back. A hesitant, soft smile that just curls her lips and shows her dimples. I'll take that smile and put it in my heart and take it out when the sun is long gone. I will use it as a ward against the night terrors that I know await. I will hold it aloft, bright and burning as the sun this morning, and watch the venomous faces of my ancestors melt away. Relief from all their burning accusations. Relief from all them who can only see the end of time through my eyes now. She takes the 4 taffies and slips them into a purse. A special treat I can see her eating tonight before bed. Comfort food, a remembrance of home when and where things were simple and mother's smile was the only son a child needed. Thank you, old man. She says this before turning and walking away, and her hips sway the way they sway and till I can see them no more. Then the old man hits me in the stomach like a cockroach found cooked in my half-eaten dinner. A tailing tsunami after she had rocked my world. I'm only 37. And this is the first time I've ever been called old. This is how mice are caught up in traps not of their own making. The maze of the streets has taken its pound of flesh with a sharp, clean blade. Not with a sharp, clean blade, but with the gnawing teeth of a mouse. The street has whittled me away into a grotesque parody of a man. I want to hate her, but how can I? She said what she saw in the nicest way and with respect. I want time to end and the thoughts roll through my mind and leave gibbers of fear in its wake. A police car stops in front of my kingdom, its hazard lights blinking out the Morse code of treachery. The 2 policemen in the front, they don't even look my way. They stare blankly ahead, waiting patiently for their foot soldiers to do their jobs. Sure enough, the one sitting in the back gets out and stands on the pavement. He yawns, stretching, showing me his clean teeth before adjusting his cap. I know the drill. It's like being trapped in the present and knowing every future moment in detail. He saunters into my kingdom, body swaying like a tree in a slow wind. "Hi, Pick and Pie. How's business today?" he rumbles. And I can see a slight smile on the guy's faces in the police car still looking ahead. And he also smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. They're cold and menacing. This is work after all. "Not too good today, officer," I say, trying to plug the dike in the inevitable next. "Yeah, that's today, Pick and Pie. What about yesterday and 4 weeks before?" he says as he picks up a taffy, slowly unwrapping it before popping it in his mouth. "Business is bad today, officer. Worldwide recession, I read the other day. People aren't buying as much as they used to." I say, still trying to somehow change the course of the events ahead. "So, where's your vending license?" He gazes steadily at me, torturing the taffy. He has brought out the big guns to quell what he sees as my fake rebellion. My words? Just words. He's heard them too many times. "I have nothing for you, vulture!" The words roll out of my mouth as easy as bulimic vomit, and I am instantly terrified upon hearing myself. His eyebrows shoot up a notch. Within his dead eyes, a flame kindles. He leans in closer, shadow dark over my kingdom. "Listen here, Pick and Pie. You pay up before the end of the week, or we're going to be knocking at your door some night. And we know where your rat hole is. You hear me, Pick and Pie?" He says all this in a quiet whisper that caresses my ears like a black mamba's tongue. I look down at my shoes, focusing on my cracked toenail, until the shadow slides away and I hear the car door slam. The car pulls away and its engine revving a scream of abuse topped by a piercing blip of a siren flicked on and off quickly. They will be back tomorrow. It's a certainty. And every day until I pay them. Or one night, they will knock at my door. It's the way of the mouse before the owl tries to deny, squeaking in desperate defiance, even as the owl's shadow grows larger, following every move it makes. I have upset the order of things. The other vendors crane their heads to look at me. They can sense impending blood in the air like a storm on the way. They shake their heads and talk in low tones to each other. I have rocked the boat. There will be a price to pay, and some of them might get caught in its way. None of us has vending license. It's cheaper and easier to pay on the street. Everyone is resigned to that arrangement except me. I have cast a stone into their pond and awoken the kraken that lies beneath the still dark waters. Even if somehow I can't pay them tomorrow or the next day, they are still disturbed and their outrage will find a victim. I am the mouse that has flapped his lips and caused a tempest to brew. How much? Schoolboy asks. His knees are dirty, his hair mussed, and he points at a pack of Rizzler rolling papers with teeth-bitten fingernails. 50 cents for one, 5 rand for a pack. The boy's headed 2 blocks down to buy a small star of green herb. The dealers don't sell papers, and the stores won't let him buy from them. He digs around in his school bag searching for change. He has a 20 rand note peeking out from his school blazer pocket, and that's for the star. I don't mind selling him the papers. My ancestors know I did the same thing at his age. Better a star than a quart of cheap cherry in the long run. He finds a 1 rand coin and slaps it into my kingdom in victory. I peel 2 papers from the pack and hand them to him. He carefully slides them next to the 20 and tucks them both deeper into his pocket before setting off once more. There's a spring to his gait that I envy, an air of illicit excitement that can only be felt by the young. A time when breaking rules has less consequences and far more satisfaction. I notice the sun has drawn an arc to lunchtime and my belly grumbles in agreement. So I root around in the cardboard box to my side wherein my portable kingdom will go come nightfall. I have half a Coke and a quarter of a loaf of bread left. The last of 3 planned lunches that disguises itself well in the snowdrift of my empty plastic bag. It's a small victory finding them, echoes of that schoolboy's pride. I wonder if that 20 was his lunch money. As I munch the stale bread and wash it down with the warm Coke, and whether or not he was hungry or had caged lunch from someone else, the bread hits my stomach like lead. I used to drink filter coffee, 10 to 15 cups a day. That created a whirlwind in me. I plowed through mountains of office desk work. I was known as the hardest worker, a man going places that didn't ever have downwards as a destination. 5 years out of high school, I was armed to the teeth with a folder of nighttime multiple diplomas and proficiency certificates. The only question of university for me was scholarships and grants, which I never got. So instead, long days in the chicken inn fast food joint, spent for longer nights studying. I courted and finally joined the top advertising agency in Harare and began to fight my way to the top. At 23, I had those corporate ladders firmly underfoot, shod in Italian handmade leather shoes that could blind at 20 paces in direct sunlight. I thought I was a man. Hey, wise one, how's your day under that cement tree? It was Chikanzi's rasp. I smelt him approaching on the breeze. He's what happens if I lose my kingdom, his hair grimy, twisted with dirty fingers into cancerous dog tails, held in place with one blackened strip of cloth. Yet Chikanzi is the best of beggars I know. He has a dignity about him as if he were a young Buddha tramping through the streets as a mendicant. There is that sense that his dirt and grain wrinkles each tell a story. Yet, he will not even tell me his name. So, I call him the messenger, or in my first language, Chikanzi. I look around and realize the sun is low and only a few more hours to go, and the day is good right now. It's coming on that magic hour when the edges of all things are softened and get cast into a sharp contrast with their shadows. The day is indeed good. I say it and really feel it. He stares at me and smiles, seeing the truth. I pass him 4 sweets in payment, as he knows, I know he knows, the gift he has given me. Well, where will you go this winter? I ask. He tears the sweet off with his remaining teeth. His brow crinkles even more as he ruminates on my question while chewing with a lip smack of satisfaction. Durban, he finally answers. He lets loose between all 4 toffees stretching between his teeth. Durban is the place to be in the winter. At the sea, I bathe once a day and may lick the fresh salt from my arms. That's the thing about Chikanzi. He has these well-hidden depths if you follow his words closely. There's also a duffel bag he always carries like a hump on his back. I saw in there once, expecting to see the normal detritus of life on the streets. Instead, I saw thousands upon thousands of papers, all sorts, all covered in the neatest, smallest handwriting I'd ever seen. He had spotted me looking, and the strangest expression came over his face, as though I had murdered his child in front of him. He had quickly ripped close the drawstring and wouldn't come near me for months afterwards. Ah, it's good to be dead, my friend. The dead have no names. The dead are invisible. Chikanzi chortles out mysteriously and gives me a knowing wink before sauntering off, probably to the few hillside oases left where residential homes leave small gaps of freedom. I watch him as he proceeds up the street, and I think in some ways I envy him. He's at the very bottom and is somewhat happy there. Maybe it's because it can get no worse for him, apart from actually dying. And that, as I have been pondering much, might even be better. Something to look forward to. The last light flickers and disappears as the sun sinks behind the line of threadbare fir trees. The day is nearly done, and I have earned a net profit of 30 rand. A good day. Not a great day, but a good day. Enough for me to eat a few more days if I keep my meals small and drink water only. I have to pay rent for my space in the 8-person room in 2 weeks. However, my nightmares have been too loud recently, and the others who share the room are getting fed up. Unless I can buy a few sachets of cane spirits to drink before bed, the only thing that ensures my nightmares don't reach the surface. That's gonna dig into my meal money. But it's either that or start looking for another room, another nameless hole filled with new strangers and dangers. Better the devils you know. I'll buy the sachets on the way home. Condoms? Interrupts my slow packing. I look up and it's a face I know that cuts me like sepulchre. I look for recognition in his deep-set, beady, bushy eyebrows, but there is none. Condoms! Have you got any? Asked Fuganaya. displaying on that square face and jutting chin only the usual mild queasiness most condom buyers seem to share. I remember that face vividly above me. The full moon had forever cast a silver memory of its leer as he pummeled me into the blood-soaked earth. I would like to say no and then leap up and push him into the 6 o'clock traffic roaring past. This man, this monster, this animal in human form, and I've met before. Yes, I calmly say as though my voice had detached itself from the rest of me. I reach under the table to this little bag and ask, how many? He gets a little smirk before saying 5 and plunks down a 20 Rand note weighted with a 5 Rand coin. I palm 5 condoms from the bag and pretend to still be searching. I need time to think. The last time I saw him, he was wearing a uniform decorated with my bloodstains. The week I was exiled, his hand reaches across my kingdom, palm up, fingers cupped in a familiar expectancy in every motion. That same hand. Murdered my family in front of me. Its skin smooth as it had always worn gloves. When I was working, he wore black moleskin gloves. The man had done the bidding of his rulers, all because I had spoken of my dissatisfaction of the ruling party in the wrong company one night that seems eons ago. I can't believe he's here and he doesn't recognize me. It makes it worse. Like I was indeed just another pig in a pen. The rage inside me burns white hot. I look behind him. There's a big truck barreling down the road towards us. This is it. The moment is now for both of us. I stand. This is it. And I placed the condoms in his hand. Fuganaya pockets the condoms and walks off. And though I can see myself storming forward, scattering my kingdom to the all four winds and hauling his surprised face in front of the truck, he still walks off. I did not stand. I'm still sitting, arms outstretched to the empty air. I am a mouse, after all, and he is a man. Thank you.